Okay, I'm back. A little weaker. I had my eye injection this morning, and I'm doing okay. Took a nap. Got a little black dot that I can see out of the corner of my eye, but other than that, it's better than going blind. So hey, anyway, let's get set up here. Okay, so I don't know if you guys saw the video. This is the Zoidberg I made yesterday, and while he works and he looks pretty good, he had that whole open mouth thing. And so late last night, couldn't sleep. So I thought, well, I'll take one more stab at it. And this is where it ended up. And his mouth is complete now. And I made a few other adjustments, and I did find a second light bulb top. This is another. This is actually one that was a different style. So I did have two that were the same. So I'm not using this one. So a future project will use this one, I'm sure. I think I might change this a little bit. I might cut this down to this point because I think this should be loose from the bottom. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to see. I don't want to have too much foam down here because it'll cause real weird wrinkles, and it is already kind of doing that. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Let me show you some of the patterns I have abandoned before I throw them away. So these are a few that you saw me make. This was doubled up to make the front of his mouth. Then I had 4 of these that went at the bottom, and then this was the mouth plate. First of all, these things were really difficult to use, so I made a second one, which was just the 4 that were all one piece that would go in there behind my hand. So my hand goes in there like that. And what occurred to me, so basically the inside of his mouth would be that. It occurred to me that I could combine those into one pattern. So I got rid of that. So this became his upper lip, and then inside his mouth became this, which basically what ends up happening is this folds over. My hand goes in there like that. Then this becomes his upper lip, which then attaches to this. So that's the way I did it, and it seems to work the best of all the ones I did. So I'm going to get rid of all these other patterns, but I thought I'd show you that before I went on to the next. So I want to use a better grade of foam on the final, and I'm actually going to make a fabric insert for the hand because I don't want my hand on this raw foam. Number one, it's kind of scratchy, and number two, it'll break down really fast because it's a reticulated Scott dry fast foam. So, and I don't think I'll have enough to do this this all on one sheet right here. I think I've got to cut a little bit more off, but it's the same process as everything else I do. You know, I basically just pin it to this board, trace it, cut it out, and then glue it up. But I'm going to trace out what I can and cut out what I can, and then probably cut out another piece from another piece of foam. Oops. And you want to make sure it all lines up. I probably should cut this. I really need to cut off about that much. I think I'll do that before. I'm trying to decide if I really want to do it. Well, okay, I'm going to leave it on for now. If I cut it off later, I'll have to cut it off, but I did add a little bit of space down here, a little bit of a curve to the bottom of his lip that I didn't have before. Ouch. To give that Simpsons. I'm going to use red, so if it bleeds through, you won't see it. This is where it gets the neatest it is going to be, in that I'm not going to, I'm going to try to make my cuts all straight. I'm going to make sure all my pen lines are nice and clean. I'm going to use the good foam. Make sure all my gluing is clean as it possibly can be. Because this is the final head. This is the head that ends up on the actual puppet. And the way that the inside mouth works is it actually goes on the inside of this piece, but on the outside, this part of here. So it's kind of weird, but you know, the best I could do. Yeah, there's not much I can do to conserve the space on this thing, unfortunately. Yeah, I might be able to get this piece down here. Yeah, I can get three of the four. Maybe. This is actually a leftover piece from when I made the Benjamin Franklin of this foam. Okay, 2 down. I don't think any of these are going to fit. Either of these are going to fit on here, so they're not. But I can do these couple of little odds and ends that I need. These are the upper and lower eyelids. And these will actually be plant-ons. These won't be glued to the, I don't think. These won't be glued to the to this foam piece. They're going to be I think covered and then sewn on to the rest of it. Same with these ones. Those are done. And I just got these pieces left, which I have a bunch of offcuts. I don't know if any of them are big enough to work, but they might be. Nope. Oh, I do have one more piece of offcut. And I think it's going to be just big enough. Let's see. And kind of figure out a weird bit of origami here to try and get it. I don't think it's just not quite big enough. I shove that all the way down there. It's not quite big enough. If I had been a little bit more it's so close. Quarter of an inch. Eighth of an inch. Oh well, I can get one piece out of this. Yeah, it's a good idea to save the scraps. You never know when you can use it. I think if I had been able to kind of maneuver these pieces, I might have had just enough to make that last piece work, but oh well. And he has no mouth palate. It's all just foam. Which is weird, but just one little piece. Uh-oh. I have a big sheet over here that I just cut a little piece off. I need to find a better way to store my foam. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I always find a use for it, or I keep it forever, or I throw it out. I mean, I can usually get about 4 puppets off of, maybe 5, off of a big piece of foam. And I don't use this foam on everything. I use it a lot on the more, you know, on the heads, I guess. Sometimes the bodies I'll use L200 or something else. Sometimes part of the head I use L200 on. All right, so before I do anything else, I'm going to put away these patterns, store them so I don't lose them. I was thinking, I have made a Dr. Zoidberg, or I'm working on Dr. Zoidberg. I've made a Dr. Smith from Lost in Space, and I've made a Dr. Strange Pork from the Muppet Show. So I have 3 doctors now. Yeah, it's reticulated foam. What? What is it? What so it's around 33 is usually what I use. PPI. What I usually just ask for is dry fast white. Right now, because that's usually what they have. You don't want it too thick or too small, otherwise it's too heavy, and you don't want it too loose, otherwise it's not strong enough, or too low. It's not strong enough. So this is basically what's inside of a like a deck chair cushion. And if you watch my first one, this is the pattern that I made pretty much everything out of. So I'll throw that in there too. me start cutting this stuff out. As I can zoom it in a little bit. Now this is a little higher up. It's hard to it's hard to zoom it. Oh, you've seen my Rosie, right? Have you seen that one? I can go grab it if you haven't. Grab her if you haven't seen it. I need to actually do some repairs on Rosie. I traveled with her, and one of the lights broke, and unfortunately, the way I built her, there's no easy way to repair her, so I've got to actually take the whole thing apart, remake parts of it. She's all made out of L200. Oop. That's the upper lip. That's going to be. These are all too small to use for anything else, so now I have some garbage. That's good. Okay. I think these two pieces are big enough that I can still use them for something else, so I'll keep those. Part of my hoard. And actually, kind of. I know, I kind of like that too. What are you building? What are you building right now? Maybe I already asked you. Oh, skunk. I think I'm going to be building a raccoon at some point pretty quick. I still got to build a couple of dogs. That's the next thing I got to build. Reticulated foam doesn't do as well. It drifts. It gets caught a little bit in the bandsaw. You can cut it with it, but I don't usually. I'm just kind of rough cutting stuff now. I don't think I'm going to cut these pieces out just yet, the eyebrows, because I don't think I'm going to. I'm more afraid of thinking these are scraps, so I'm going to probably leave those now. I think these are all scraps left over from Benjamin Franklin, maybe Max. You can kind of see that is a little bit of yellowing here at the edge, and that's because when I bought this, it had already kind of, from the shop that I bought it, had gotten a little bit of UV degradation, maybe degradation, or might be a little bit of sun from the sun or from being in the light. So I usually try and store this stuff in the in a closet or in a plastic bag or something to try and keep it out of the sun. Once it's inside the puppet, it's usually pretty safe. Although it does, they call it turn to toast. But it'll turn yellow and get hard and not really be useful anymore. This way. These look like Bart Simpson heads to me before I glue them. Okay, so those are the main pieces I'm going to have. How's the eye? The eye's okay. I can see a little black dot right about here where they did the injection. And I probably won't be working as much today on this stuff. But I'm doing okay. If I had not done it, if I had not had the injection done, it could, number one, it would have taken longer to heal. And number two, my hair looks wonderful. Number two, it could make it weaker in the long run. So it's better to get it done and deal with it. So these are the two prototypes I have right now. And then I even show it to the camera. These are the two different prototypes. This is the one I did the little video with, and it's got a piece in here that will actually covers up the mouth plate, covers up the hand. So I guess I need to start working on my Zoidberg, but he can actually, when he talks, do some of this. But it's all closed in. Whereas the original one, I'm going to put my hand in here. It wasn't as strong. Still gets about the same, but it's still open in here. So, and I'll just show you something else that I did. He's actually got holes in here that I stuck in here, and it's just gaff tape that's holding it in right now. So at some point, I may do something similar for the inside of his eye. I haven't decided yet. I may, on these pieces, what do I do with my final pieces? I may have a hole that has another piece of either reticulated or L200 that makes a little recess to glue that in place. I haven't decided yet. But anyway. But these guys are a little heavier than what I will end up using, and it doesn't, I like the reticulated foam in that it doesn't stair step when you glue it. So you can actually make a nice cleaner seam glue line. But these are good ones to use for making too much experimentation as you do it. Okay. Dropped you a message to get you advice on something. Okay, well, I'll take a look at it later. It's kind of hard for me to it's just outside. I can see the screen, but because of this dot that I have going on, it's a little hard to read right now. But I'll look at it today. Okay, so let me change to another thing. I think it's time to start gluing some of this stuff, which is kind of fun. But before I do anything, before I glue anything, I think I'm going to back some of this with fleece, old garbage fleece. Well, not garbage, but stuff that's too small to really use anything else. I I want to have a this lined so that when my fingers are in there, or puppeteer's fingers are in here, um, it's lined. So let me do that real quick. So I think this stuff, this is old Antron fleece. I think I'm going to throw this in a dye pot with a little bit of red to darken it up to make his final skin. But for the otherwise, this is just left over from another project. But I think these scraps that I have might be good for things like the inside of the. Let me see. Actually, I may end up using it, dyeing it beforehand. I may not be able. I may not be able to use it. Let me show you what's going to happen. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud here. When this guy's done, you're going to be able to see this. This will actually be outside the puppet. So I may want to dye it. I may want to use something that's a little closer to what I'm going to use. Let me see. I may not be able to glue just yet. Here, I want to show you something here. This is actual old Muppet fleece. This is old 70s Antron. That was given to me. I think Michael Moore gave this to me at one point. But it's super forgiving. And it's very similar to what the F3 fleece is now. But this is what it looks like pre-dyed, and I still use it for stuff. I thought I had some red, but no, I don't seem to have any handy. So I may, before I do anything else, I was going to do some gluing today, but I may not do it today because I might want to. I think I'm going to dye the final color prior to putting stuff together, because I'm getting to the point where I may actually have some real finished, some stuff that you see on the outside. So I think what I'm going to do, before I do anything else, I'm going to turn off the camera and I'm going to do some dye tests on the F3 or old Antron that I use to see if I can use get the final color done. And I may do some sewing before I actually glue, because I like I said, I want to have this. I want to have these pieces to be able to be lined, and I think I also want to make sure they're nice and I might actually sew this part so that it's almost like a glove, so that it it works. So I have to. It's kind of like this order of operations, because if I don't make these choices now, I'm not going to have a chance to, or it might be problematic later on. So I do think I'm going to do a little bit of thinking about how I'm going to do this. Build the body. Yeah, I may want to. Yeah, I have the. What did I do with Ben Franklin? This is Benjamin Franklin. This here is Benjamin Franklin's pattern. And let's take a look at that. Let's see what I got. Okay, so these were all the things you saw in the last thing I did. This is fleece body. Okay, so this is his foam body. And I'm not 100% sure that this will work. You know what? Let me test it. Let's test it while I have a chance. Before I do any gluing. Before I commit to this, I do have some. I think before I make some nice Scott reticulated dry fast foam, I think it is probably a good idea for me to take a step back and prototype the body a little bit. And make any adjustments on that. But we can at least see how it looks. So this is back to upholstery foam. Because I'm not 100% sure it's going to work. I also think his body's a little different size, shape, and maybe a little bit bigger. So I may actually have to go back to the drawing board and make a brand new pattern for that. If I had Ben Franklin, he should be delivered today or tomorrow to Wisconsin. And then I'll probably do an unboxing video with Lori. And we can get on here live and see what her plans are for how that's going to work. But if I had the actual body or a prototype of that body, I could probably have just grabbed it and seen what I do with it. I think I threw that thing away though. I also may make his body at L200. So anyway, sorry, I'm a little drifty because I keep seeing this black dot in my vision from where they did the injection, so I get a little distracted. These are not things that you would have to deal with. So. This is such a weird project in that I kind of have no reason to be building him. But ATC. But you know, I might be able to sell him real quick if I decide to. So. I've got to have money for my disposable income of eye surgeries and things like rent, and also to get myself out to Wisconsin so that I can. I'm actually going to be teaching a class out in Wisconsin, or at a festival in Wisconsin, in I think July. I should probably get the dates to that. So I need to figure out things like airfare and stuff. So maybe Zoidberg selling him will give me a chance to pay that bill. I do think I'm going to go outside the glue though, just because it's a nice day. But I can pop off and go put layered glue on and then bring it back inside when it's tacky and put it together. I mean, the nice thing about having these patterns is that I can kind of quickly do it and then modify these as opposed to just having to start over from scratch. But I also think that maybe I might have to start over from scratch just because it's not quite the right shape. I can already tell right now it's going to be a little small. Well, anyway. All right. I'm going to... The claws will be fun to see you. Yeah, I was just thinking about the claws. And actually, I might start with the rosy hand because it's pretty close to the right shape. Maybe not. Actually, Actually, the claw might be pretty easy. I mean, it's only 2 pieces of wire, so it's not too difficult. I gotta figure that out. But yeah, and I think the arms, I might actually have to go and get some of those beads for that they use in there, because I think the way that graining uses them, there's not an articulated arm, an elbow. So I might need something with a little bit of weight in there. So I'm always just using different techniques to do this sort of stuff. So anyway, I'm gonna. Well, let me think. Actually, you know what? Maybe I will just put on my respirator and open the window, because this is more people I've had on a feed than in a while. So I don't want to lose you guys. Okay, so I'm gonna. I may need to change out these filters pretty quick. I've been gluing more than usual. Now I look more like Zoidberg. There's still a little glue in this pan that I can get away with putting it on the side, so it'll dribble out. So it'll trickle over to the side and give me a little bit easier time. It'd be nice to get some new glue that isn't quite so goopy.
Oh yeah, BJ told me about that. He told me after we used to have these old just a second.
We used to have these old cans of barge in the shop, and after like 2 hours of me struggling to get that one of those things open on a project, I was just so frustrated that I called him and I was like, I got to go over to Home Depot and get some weldwood because I can't handle this anymore. And he goes, "Oh, just use a hairdryer on it." I go, "What?" And so I went over to probably this hairdryer because this is one of his old hairdryers. As you can maybe see there, BJ's Puppet Shop. Um, I grabbed it, and 5 minutes later, I was able to just work that old stuff. Okay, let's see how this works. And I usually only use the heat gun on or the hair dryer on the foam to make it go faster when I'm prototyping because it's not as strong. But it's helpful to get these things done. If this glue wasn't so thick, I wouldn't have to keep using the hair dryer on it. Okay, so there's look at this head. That's the final head. So that almost works. I think it needs to be I think it needs to be a little wider at the top and a little thinner at the bottom. Maybe right side around. Let's see. Well, I mean, it works. It's about the right size. Okay, well, now we know. I'm just gonna make some adjustments to this, I think, and then it'll work fine. So that's good to know. All right, I am gonna go outside and glue those. I'm gonna open a new can of barge, and I'm gonna go outside and put the glue on these guys, and then I'll be back. Actually, strike that. I'm not gonna go outside. I'm gonna dye some fleece and see if I can get a red that looks right to me for his skin. And that's always dangerous for me being colorblind. So yeah, that's true. They aren't. I think he needs to just be maybe add a half an inch to the outside of this, and then I want to bring this in so that the tube will lock in the bottom. But I don't think it's going to be much of a change for this. So that was a good call to use as a basis. So anyway, I'm gonna head out for a little bit, rest this eye, and then maybe I'll be on again tonight. So actually, I teach a class, teach my art class tonight, so I may not be able to come back on tonight. But if not, I'll see you guys tomorrow. So thanks for checking in, and I'll see you tomorrow.